Today we need to replace Reheater, which is part of Airbus A320 air conditioning system. So, and as always, I would like to tell you a little bit about it, and I'll show you how hard it is to replace it. So, let's take a look at it. Okay, this is how air conditioning system looks on A320, and actually for somebody it can be a bit overwhelming. So that's why I'll try to explain function of reheater on this schematic view. So what actually is reheater? Well, it plays quite an important role in water extraction loop, and here you can find reheater, condenser, and water extractor. The reheater uses turbine inlet air of the air cycle machine to cool air in the high pressure water extraction loop. The condenser then uses cold turbine air to further cool the air below the dew point. The condenser is a heat exchanger which uses a temperature difference between a turbine outlet air temperature and a reheater air temperature. The condensed water is extracted and drained from the air as it passes through the high pressure water extractor. I'll show you later on how it works in reality, and of course I'll show you on the water extractor itself. Then after the water extractor, the air passes through the reheater again and temperature increase to assure that no free water enters in the turbine. Okay, that was a bit of theory. Hopefully you get the point what is it good for. And now let's take a look how to remove it from this compartment. First thing first, we need to remove the water separator. This device is responsible for removal of the water from the stream. I'll show you how it works. It's basically a very simple device. It is based on centrifuge force. Inside you can find something like a fixed vanes which will force the air rotate inside, and since water is heavier than air, it will force the water to stick to the wall, and then it will be moved from the airstream all the way to the nozzle. I'll show you later on where it leads, and next to that we are able to remove a huge portion of the water from the airstream, and as well this water is used to cool down heat exchangers. So this is one of the devices how to do that. So this was one clamp. Now I'll remove that hose. So that's a hose. Now we need to remove those two cables, one on each side. Then the separator we're gonna hang only on this rod on the top. So let's start with the rods. Very simple. The thing is that whenever you remove those nuts, they're self-locking nuts, and manual requires you to replace them. So we'll do that, of course. One. Now the other one on the bottom. That was a second one. Good. Now what's remaining is this rod on the top. Great. That is basically the last thing which holds us in position. It'll help with plastic hammer. Okay, should be free. Great, it's out. I'll show you how it looks inside. So you can see the vanes, how they are welded in. That creates that centrifuge effect. And inside you can see as well the gap between the walls. And that's exactly the point where how the water leads towards this outlet, and then it is lead outside. The air which remaining with water helps to force it out of this water separator. So you don't need any mechanical part. This is simple static device, and it's very efficient. You can find it on every air condition pack. Okay, that's one connection. Now we need to remove 3 more. So this one, that one, and one over here. We are using basically flexible hosing or flexible duct. What does it mean? The pack itself or air conditioning system itself is going through a lot of temperature changes, which means that you have a huge variety of the temperatures here. And if it will be fixed duct, we're gonna have a problem, because in that case the ducts or the components will not gonna have a chance to shrink or expand thanks to heat differences. So that's why it is necessary to have it this way. Each housing, this one, and 2 there, plus 1 which was here. Inside you can find 2 packings, which helps to keep the air inside. Now I'm removing the spacer. Which restrict the movement of the housing. And since I removed this clamp, now I need to remove those cables or lose those cables, and after that I'll be able to slide the whole segment up. I'll just place the nut and washer on the cable just to don't lose it, but later on, of course, I'm gonna replace them. Second cable is out. Now you don't really see, so let me show you. Here you can see the second cable. The other one, now we'll be able to slide it up, so that will be the second connection, which leads to reheater, then here in the middle, and the one all the way in the back. So yep, let's start with that one. This one over here is the simplest one. Simple clamp, easy to remove. The only issue with those clamps are that you need to go all the way, so you need to remove the nuts anyway. But yeah, it's easier as the flex process.
A few moments later.
Okay. Another clamp. Last one remaining. So before we continue further, let's remove the connector from the sensor. Plug one side, the other side. Good. So that's secured, and now we can finally move to the other side. That was one, now one on the top. And of course the clamp which restricts the movement. So that's the clamp, and now basically we're able to slide it back without problems. So this way basically you gain the possibility to remove it without moving on the whole section. Since all the connections except the bonding lead are removed, I'll remove the screws with which it's connected to the duct which leads to anti-ice valve. So those screws are quite easy to access. Right, so on the bottom this looped already, as you can see. Now it holds only on those two rods on the top. So now I'll remove bonding lead, which is over here. Bonding lead on the top. That's one. And finally, two rods on the top, and that's only things which keeps us from removing of this reheater. That's one. Okay, that's one bolt, and last one. And one more time, I'm gonna need help with plastic hammer. So, okay, the heater is basically free to move, and we can pull it out. And here we have it. Now we need to transfer the sensor on the new one, and we need to apply the seals and everything as well. We need to transfer those cables on the new reheater. So that's the next step. Okay, so sensor on the new reheater. It's easier to install everything what I can on the reheater now, because now I have access. Otherwise, when it will be already in the bay, it's always hard to install anything. So since I have access, sensor is on a place. Now we can install it back. First of all, we'll put a packing on connection to air cycle machine. I lubricate it with the compound which is made for this. So that will be over here. We can place our reheater on the spot. Carefully, almost there. Now we can install the bolts which we're gonna hold the heater on the place. Okay, that's one. Now the second one. Okay, now the seal. Check if it is still in place. We can install now nuts, bolts. We can install washer and nuts over on these rods. Second one. So now we fix it on the bottom, on the anti-airbus valve. And the next one. So now we need to install this clamp, which is, as I said, we placed there. O-ring, huh? Great. So that's one clamp, and now we can continue. And finally, I can tight bolts on the bottom, which are connected to anti-airbus valve, as I mentioned during removal. Since the clamp is there, we can fix it on the place. That's one. Okay, that's the second one. Now we can continue with the housings. We can slide them over, put them on the place. I replaced all seals, of course. I lubricate them with this beautiful black powder. So that should be okay. Then we can install the sleeve, which restrict the movement. And this one, as you can hear, it's quite important in such a crowded area to pull out the CBs, because every time somebody is switching on and switching off the airplane, so this way you are always sure that nobody harms you, because once you switch on the airplane, many things will start to move here in air-conditioned bay. So follow the sleeve is on. Now we can push through cables, and of course we need to install the new nuts and washers, since they're self-locking and you have huge amount of vibrations in this area, so it's really important to install the new ones. Okay, let's start. This is the first one. So new washer, new nut on the place. Great. Now the one on the top. Actually, it's quite hard to show what's going on there. Great. Okay, we can put second housing down, or the sleeve. Cables on. Rotate. Slide down a bit. New nut. New washer. Okay. Done. And tight. Goody. Sleeve. Oh. Connector. Good. Okay, time to install the last section, which is actually water separator, and yeah, then we can make a leak check. Let's put it on. New O-ring, lubricated as well. This O-rings or these seals are installed and lubricated, so we can place it on. Don't ask me.
Why not?
Because I have no clue. I'm new here. Right? Water drain. Right? One. Great. Short. Good. So this is tight, this is tight, 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 tight. Tight, installed, tight, tight. Connector locked. Tight, 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 tight. Okay, good. Okay, everything is installed at the moment. Now we need to wait for our B2 guys to perform a resistance check, and whenever they perform that, we're gonna perform the test and the check. Now let's do it. Okay, now my colleague at the moment closed all the CVs, and we need to perform the test of the back control system. So in a few seconds everything will start to move. It will check all the sensors, and it will run with all the valves. Actually, you can hear it now. That should be pack valve, flap motor, and yeah, now it runs the test of the all sensors. Everything what you have in this section is running at the moment. Okay, at the moment we are starting APU. Since test pass, we'll perform the check. So I'll check each connection if there is no leak. Okay, test is in progress, and actually I can find small leaks and they are permitted. The reason behind is that pack need to run for several minutes so it will reach the operational temperature, and after that the leaks will gonna decrease because seals will reach as well the operational temperature and they will close the gaps. And as you remember, I told you that the water from water separator leads somewhere, and actually now I'll show you where it goes. So from water separator it leads to ram air duct, and here it is sprayed in this airstream, which will help to cool down the heat exchangers. Okay, even though the pack is off, the environment is still too loud, so I'll try to explain what I'm saying. Basically, leak check pass, so we can close the compartment and paperwork remaining. Okay, panel has been installed already, paperwork was closed, and as always I would like to ask you guys to don't use this as a replacement for your maintenance manual, but always use latest documentation released by manufacturer. That's all from my side. My name is Tomáš, this was Aircraft Maintenance with Zeto, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.